Ladies and gentlemen, all I'm going to say is if you don't watch this show, you don't want to get rich. History has been made. Last week on this show, Crypto Landy, aka Langley Landy, said he was going to short silver. All of us, including myself, thought he was an absolute lunatic. And silver dropped by about 30% today. I was looking at the charts and all I wanted to do was kick my own ass. I wanted to put my own foot in my own ass because I didn't get puts on silver. This guy literally said last week on this show that he was short silver. Silver was at all-time highs. Silver was going bonkers. I don't know who he knows. I don't know what type of connections he's got. I do know we call him Langley Landy for a reason because he's got to be connected to the CIA, the DIA, the FBI, Wall Street, SPY, QQQ, DIA. I don't know what's going on, but for some reason, this guy said he was going to short silver. That's literally what he said. Last Friday, this guy came on this show and said he was shorting silver, and we all thought he was crazy. I opened the charts today, and I was amazed. Silver crashed following the announcement of the new Federal Reserve chair, and silver literally died on this spot. So without further ado, without further delay, I'm going to need you guys to open up your charts, open up your MacBook, open up your Chromebook, open up TradingView, open up whatever platform you use to trade. And I want you to get ready for history to be made once again, because tonight I'm going to torture this guy for the next play we need to look out for. This is unprecedented. You will not find this information anywhere else on the internet. You can't go to YouTube. You can't go to Rumble. You can't go to Twitch. You can't go anywhere else on the internet. The only place in the world you can't go to Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Venezuela, Iran, Germany. You can't go anywhere else and get this type of information. But he literally shorted silver before the crash. So I present to you the one, the only, the incomparable, the technical analysis guru, Langley Landy.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Landy.
Hello, Hotep. How are you?
Landy. Who do you know? How Sway? In the great words of Ye, how, Landy?
All right.
I opened up my charts today. I saw silver crashing like it's never crashed before. And I said, Why did I not take this man's advice? Landy, how did you do this? How, Sway?
This is actually a funny story. So I do some spaces on X during the day, and two of my friends had a bet against each other. One of them said, "Hey, I think silver is going to hit 130." The other one said, "I think it's going to hit 50." And I said, "You know what? I'm going to make a few phone calls and I'm going to make sure that it doesn't get to $130 per ounce." And I called in some favors, and realistically, me and my friends just moved the market to troll somebody on spaces.
Landy, what the hell just happened, Landy?
Well, you had a few different events all happen at the same time, and that was that the day prior, where we got this high, this doji. Well, first of all, we had
It was
Wednesday
a
was
doji.
yeah, we had Wednesday was FOMC, no rate change, right?
Yep.
And then we had the day after on Thursday, we had a doji right at the top.
Right at the
And
top.
yeah, and this was something that coincided with the trade deficit information coming out, and we saw an increase in the trade deficit after a really, really low number. We had a deficit of 29 billion, and then we increased that trade deficit to 54.
Yeah.
And this started to spook the market on Thursday,
Mm.
right? And one of the reasons why it spooked the market is because, we've talked about this. A lot of companies, they were front running all Q1 of last year. They were front running the tariffs by buying up tons of inventory, right? They were buying and importing as much as they possibly could. All the biggest companies in the United States and all these imports prior to tariffs hitting in Q2. And they had about enough runway to carry them through to Q4. And the numbers that we had from October, yeah, trade deficit was down. November, though, because we're trailing data for trade deficit stuff because of the shutdown that occurred at the time with the government shutdown. And markets got spooked when they saw that the imports started to pick up again. Exports decreased, thus raising the trade deficit. And then they waited on pins and needles for producer price index today, Friday. And producer price index was hot, baby. Hot,
It was
hot,
hot.
hot.
It was hot.
And they said, you know what? Unwind it all. Unwind it all. And then you add in all of the stuff going on with Japan and the global bond markets and the trade out of the dollar and all of these other things that are occurring right now as we are in this monetary reordering, to put it in Scott Bessent's words. So yeah, a lot of people are attributing it to a lot of stuff. I think somebody I don't know who to credit because I've seen it a few times now, but what I can tell you is Binance listed commodities like gold and silver now. So obviously you get
Wow.
a listing on Binance and everything dumps. Not even the biggest assets on the planet can handle a Binance listing.
Landy, how did you know? Well, who do you know? You knew
knew.
Vassar was about to be the new pick over
Well,
at the Fed. Let's start there.
well, one, he's not he's actually not that hawkish, right? What we're going to see is they're going to continue to lower rates, right? Even with him, a lot of people are painting him as a hawkish guy, but we're going to see rates continue to get lowered on the short end, right? They're not going to do QE. They're going to use the standing repo facilities for the short end. They'll lower rates, and what you're going to have is likely Scott Bessent working on the long end from the Treasury side. And I think, the funny thing is, I mentioned this earlier today on a different show. I said, it's interesting that they're both connected and very close with Druckenmiller. So kind of a shoe-in if he and he's a much more acceptable candidate for Senate confirmation hearings. So than some of the others. And some of the others, when you look at them versus him, he's going to seem like the hawk when in reality they were just extreme on the other side. So it's kind of like
When you say hawk, what does that mean?
hawkish versus dovish. So more of a when you think about the way that it's being used in the market right now, because there's broader context to this, but dovish meaning bringing rates down more aggressively, hawkish meaning hold or raise rates
Okay.
to curb inflation. So many view him as a more hawkish candidate, but in reality, he's a pretty level-headed guy. And he's pretty,
You know
between-
who do you know who said he was a potential candidate?
Do I know who said it? No. Did you?
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
All right.
Last night, Uncle Hotep on Hotep's Been Told You asked me, because he always asks me questions about money once a episode, and I took a look at the candidates, and I was able to pick him out. I was able to weed out two other candidates, and I said he's one of the candidates. And
Nice.
and I think, well, I'll tell you, we'll just be honest. I looked at his picture. I looked at his headshot and I said, yeah, he's definitely dumb enough to take this role.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Because, let's be honest. The person who plays chairman at the Federal Reserve is just a pawn. We all know that the real decisions come from the member banks and everyone associated. And he's just a talking mouth. So I looked at his headshot. The other factor I looked at was I followed his rule of the revolving door. When you deal with the Federal Reserve, what you really want is you want somebody coming from private industry to public. And then they usually go from public back to private. So I looked at everybody's profile and I said, okay, Hassett, he's not going to work. Let's count him out. But when I saw Morgan Stanley, I said, okay, here's a guy who is in private sector. This makes sense. And then I looked at his headshot and he looked goofy. And I said, you know what? He's a perfect candidate. Because if somebody came around and said, Hotep Jesus, we want you to be Fed chair, I'd be like, no, sir, I don't want to know. No, thank you. I don't give a fuck what the salary is. I don't want to be the guy that has to come out and tell people what the Fed rate is and taking blame for all of what the Fed does. So when I saw his headshot, I actually picked him out of 4 candidates last night. It was him and then the other guy who looked goofy as hell. I forget his name. And somebody commented on my YouTube. They're like, Hotep Jesus, you literally picked this guy as one of the possible candidates out of 4. And it was because of his headshot. He looked like somebody who couldn't get any chicks if he tried his best. So, yeah, there's your hard technical analysis for you.
Hotep, I've been with the agency a long, long time. And that is the worst cover story I've ever heard. I know that you got insider information for sure. Who picked you up as an asset? It was so you were supposed to be my asset, not the other way. You weren't supposed to go with any of those other guys.
No, sir. I don't work for anybody. Okay, I work for GNN Network. That's who I work for.
It's a good. And who is GNN owned by?
It's owned by a Jewish guy, but that's not the point. That's not. That's not the.
You couldn't get a more Jewish name, okay? That is the most Jewish of Jewish names, all right?
That is not the point. We're not bringing that into the conversation. We got Salty said, hoping for alpha here, but more so getting used to UI because they're going down in 6 hours. Okay, so first of all, if you're looking for alpha, you're in the right place. Okay, you're in the right place. Landy literally decided to short silver last week. We all thought he was crazy. I didn't take his advice. I'm still kicking myself in the ass for it. And silver put it today like crazy.
Insane. Yeah.
Insane. Like literal crash.
Yeah, that was a big ol' unwind. Wick to wick, 37.19%, man. You wanna talk about silver acting like crypto, man.
That
Well,
is the definition of crash.
oh, yeah.
I asked Gronk, I said, what is the definition of crash? And it said anything over 30%. Silver literally crashed today.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, look, I was building up my short position. I've been public about this. I said that I was gonna start my short position at 95.50 and above to 110 originally. And I
Okay.
said, I'll consider stopping out, or I'll stop out at 115. But when it rose and gapped up last week, I was like, hell no, this moves way too fast. I removed my stop and started building out my position even further on the way up. I
Mm,
amassed a massive short position in silver.
mm.
And I managed to pull my entry all the way up to, I believe, what was my entry here? I still actually have my short open. Let me actually go look, make sure I'm not showing
114.
it. I am at 114.30.
I know it.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
See how I did that?
That was, wow. That's actually, yeah, 114.30. Yeah. Well,
I don't work for nobody though. I don't work for nobody though.
I don't know. Yo, is David in your ear? I heard he's an agent.
I don't know nothing.
I'm just gonna start these rumors now. Yo. Oh my god. Look, I took profit on the way. It was moving so fast that I was getting fills lower than mark to market. And
Damn.
it was because there was no I'm I took puts on it. I took primarily my biggest positions though that I was building out.
Mm-hmm.
Perps. Perps, baby. Perps worked like a charm too in the crash.
Uh-huh.
Didn't really have any hiccups. Like I'm really happy with that trade. I mean, how could I not be, right? How could I not be? Just beautiful.
That's crazy. Chat, we're looking at the silver chart right now, and I am floored. Absolutely floored. I do have a question. So I upgraded my trading view account,
Mm-hmm.
and now I can have up to 10 indicators.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trading with the Landy bands again, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
And man, so walk us through what's happening here with silver.
Well, let's real quick. Because it'll be a little bit easier if you switch over to mine real quick because I
Okay,
already
let's
have
do
some
that.
stuff
Let's
specced up.
let's let's go ahead and do that. Let's bring in Landy's charts. There we go. All right.
You see this big fib level, this macro fib that I have on the chart here.
Okay.
This is a log scale fib. Let me turn off the bands real quick here. Now, this is a log scale fib from the high back in 2011 to the low at $11 in 2020, or 11,
Okay.
11 and a half, 1160 in this case. This is a fib with extensions on it. You'll see that there's the one spot right there, and then you get your extensions. I have some customs that I've back tested over the years in traditional markets and in crypto that I like. In particular, this here is after the after the breakout above, 49.83, which was the high, right?
Mm-hmm.
We went right to a 1.168, which is a 16.8% above. So it was 16.8% above 49.30 or
Mm-hmm.
49.83. And this is the monthly. So let's go to the daily here. And it just
Mm.
started playing beautifully. I mean, so beautifully that we got a breakout above the prior all-time high. We came back down, perfect retest of an 88.8% or
Mm-hmm.
888 level,
Mm-hmm.
a move up to the 1.168 or 16.8, a
Mm-hmm.
move to the 1.272, a move to the 1.414, and then
Mm.
it started to get front run around the 1.618, but it had so much strength in terms of volatility.
Now, when you say
I
front run, what do you mean by that?
It didn't quite hit the fib.
Okay.
It got close, but
Okay.
this was a little bit of a front run, and instead it ran to the 1.786 and a 1.888. So
Mm-hmm.
88.8% above the prior all-time high. They're at
Mm.
83.75, and then it closed back under the 786 and then put in that nice low at $70. And I had mentioned that I thought above $70, this thing's going to rip.
Mm.
It's going to continue to go. Volatility's picking up on the daily here. It's continuing to stay really strong. Put in a nice higher low right above the 1.618 rather.
Mm-hmm.
Worked its way up to the 2 spot over time here. You can see it played the levels pretty well, even back testing them. Back
Mm-hmm.
tested the 2 spot and continued up. Now, above the 2 spot, we're now getting like, we're at the 2 spot, we're 100% above the prior high, right?
Mm.
So $88, we're now getting above, 100% over the prior all-time high.
Okay.
And we start working our way up to the next extensions, and it just started to keep rolling and rolling, rolling. So above
Mm-hmm.
there, 272, 2414, 2618,
Now, hold on a
2786.
second. There's a crazy uh upside down inverse hammer with a high wick right there. Why did that not alarm you? Or did it alarm you? You see that red candle?
This one.
Yeah. Why
So
what did that tell you?
I was already short. So above the 2
Oh.
spot, I built off of this high here, right?
Mhm.
So when we started to get up here, so when we failed to close below the 2 spot here at
Mhm.
85.31 or 86.45 rather,
Mhm.
um, I said, the next move, this is starting to look really overextended. And
Mm.
so it put in this candle structure here, and I started to build my short here.
Mhm.
And then I had mentioned, like,
Now, what
I
about
want
that
this to keep
made
going.
you build out a short?
Because when I was looking at the bands,
Mhm.
we're coming off of a major extension, right?
Yeah.
And it was just trucking its way to the upside, never lost the basis. And what we were doing in terms of looking at the bands, while it was kind of just moving along, little corrections back below the upper first here, it kept
Mhm.
hugging the upper second. I
Mhm.
I I figured, this is going to keep rolling. I'm looking for volatility to hit its peak and then combine that with RSI.
Mm.
I was like, I'm waiting for RSI to get up to, around the levels that it was back in October when it first hit when it first broke the all-time high.
Okay.
So I'm looking for this level of RSI to get there or lower because we know that
Oh,
that's at the extremes while also hugging the upper band here and pinning volatility, right? It can
okay.
only do this for so long. And after
Mhm.
the correction here, I felt like it had more room to keep going, and it
Mhm.
did. So my original thought was 95. I'll short through 105. I'll build it through 105, put my stop at 115. I've got plenty of powder. I can always readjust. So I
Mhm.
started building around this high right here, and I got in
Mm.
around 95.50. And then I built all the way through the 2414 here at 105.
Mhm.
And this was a Friday right here. And what happened was in the lower term timeframes on that Monday for this candle right here, this inverted spinning top, shooting star, whatever you want to call it, morning star or evening star reversal.
Lady's like, I'll go fuck what you call these shits.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. Everybody's got a name for it, and they're like, "That's not by the book, Landy. It's actually an evening star reversal." And yeah, I don't give a shit. You know why? You know why I make money? Because I don't concern myself about what it's called. I know what's going on in the candle, and this candle right here was my clue. It shot. We're already maxed out at volatility levels. We shot through the top side of the upper second and upper third. So we're more than 3 standard deviations away from a mean average, in this case,
Okay.
the 20 simple.
Yeah.
And this has just been cooking the entire time and not really getting a big correction. This was not a big correction. This was a correction to a consolidation, little correction, little correction, little correction. And then the big move up. Well, it started going for my stop, and I had a
That's a
decision to make.
tombstone right there. That's what they call that.
I mean, you could call dude, this looks like I'm gonna go fencing with it. Like I'm gonna do some real white guy shit, and I'm gonna go have a fencing competition, right? And we're gonna score points instead of
Yeah.
actually stabbing each other. It's kind of a weird candle to be looking at, to be honest with you. But if we
Yeah.
go and we look in this candle, and this was on that day in the lower term timeframes. I'll go all the way to a 15-minute, and we'll scroll back. I've got very few support and resistance lines here.
Okay.
You see this gap up?
Yeah.
This gap up came down and got filled. And the first, so we had market open.
Oh yeah.
We
I
had
see that.
Friday, and then we had market open on Sunday.
And it got
It went down and then shot right up, and it hit 106, and it filled my orders at 105.
okay.
And I was like, okay, I'm trailing price pretty closely because I'm laddering in, meaning the orders are getting larger to pull my entry up.
Okay.
And when it spiked 106.54, I was like, you know what? I'm looking at this in the lower term time frames. This has some juice to it. Not only did it spike up, it filled the gap from the gap up. And then it sat right here on the 2414. And I was like, this is going to rip and take my stop if I'm not careful. And you see
Okay.
throughout Monday, it started to really go right in, as Sunday turned into Monday. I watched price action, and, it came up, got this big expansion in the bands here, and then went into a consolidation here. And we were
Right.
below this 110, region. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, I have a choice here. This looks like it wants to come take my stop. I don't know if I'm going to have time to build a position higher. This is cooking too hard, too fast, meaning that I don't want to get stopped out and not be able to reposition higher. I should just sit here, pull my stop, and build this.
Right.
So, and I decided that when it was about, I remember messaging some friends in a group chat, and I was like, decision time, pulling my stop. And that was like at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
So we were pushing.
That's right around when the CIA got in the office. Continue.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It was right here when it was starting to break out. I messaged them after I actually pulled the stop and started to place orders.
Okay.
And I, once it started to break above the 2618, I was like, this is coming from a compression into an expansion. It's going to come take my stop. So that morning when I was watching, pre-market into market open here, I was like, I can't. So at 5:30 my time, it's getting close to market open on the East Coast, at 6:30. So it started to go for it coming into market open. And I was like, I got to pull my stop. I have no choice. I'm going to build this because I don't know if I'm going to be able to build it higher at the size that I want. So I pulled my stop and I just layered in massive short orders at 115 through 120. And it didn't hit 120 until it it hit the 120 much later.
Okay.
It didn't hit it right away, but I started getting my fills. Right,
Mhm.
it got a beautiful correction down to $100. This big move down. That's what turned that candle into, what'd you call it, tombstone.
Yeah.
This big move down after spiking the high, so it would have taken my stop, and I was
Mm.
like, good thing I kept building it, because I just started going ham. It filled my orders between, most of my orders that I had layered between 115 and 120,
Mhm.
and then it didn't hit 120. It just turned around and dropped. It dropped through the 2414, hit about $102, and then
Yep.
started to recover coming into the Tuesday session. I was like, this is it, baby. This is
Mm.
it. I'm seeing the cracks form. And I had
Yeah, it's
people like,
Tuesday.
nah,
Yep.
it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. So that was that candle, right? Everybody was like, it's going to keep going. I was like, it can keep going, but this is my time to get in and start really like hammering the short side of this, because
Mm.
after a sell-off like that, if we don't close above this wick high, this high right here at 117, so it's just below this 2786. If we don't close above it, we ain't getting continuation. We need a daily close above it. That's the criteria right there.
Right.
And we came up. I got more fills in. I got some
And then we
fills in
went
at
doji.
120. Yep, and then it started. I was like, the cracks are forming. In fact, on Thursday, there were some people like, it's an new all-time high. You're nuts. And I was like, you
Mm.
know what? I was like, I'm okay with this. If it goes higher, I'm going to keep building. I know that
Mm.
this is going to have to come down in a correction. I said, all I'm trying to do, I'm not trying to catch a macro top. I'm trying to catch a bigger correction, because all we've
Mm.
gotten is little corrections the entire time since it broke out.
Yep.
Back in October. This has to get a larger correction. There's over 37,800% leverage with 65% to 67%. I actually went and checked the numbers, 65 to 67% long in the market.
Mm.
And I'm like, come on, give me that all day, baby.
Yeah.
Okay,
People
I'll
never
build.
choose properly.
And here's something key. This is actually the alpha. I told you, I built this on perps markets primarily as a large part of my position. And one of the things that I did is I built at 1x leverage. That means that I'm taking a naked I'm taking a naked short perpetual trade, because it's not like I'm holding the underlying ticker silver on that exchange, those perp dexes.
Mhm.
I'm taking a naked short, which means that you get a liquidation, right? So I'm willing to manage my stop and babysit this trade, and I'm on 1x leverage, which means you can't get me out of the trade. I can keep building. And
Right.
if and I'm not expending all of my collateral. I'm trailing price because of the way that I'm layering my bids, or
Mhm.
well, my asks in this case.
Right.
Um because of the way I'm layering them from smaller to larger, every time it hits one of my bigger orders, it's just pulling my entry up very close or within the margin of error of like a price envelope around that trading price.
Okay.
And here on Thursday, there was a lot of people sweating silver. It's going to go to 150. It's going to go to 175. Binance listing coming up. Coinbase listing, this listing, that listing, who's listing, everybody's listing. Silver is so much better than Bitcoin. I'm so glad I sold on my Bitcoin for silver. It's the greatest asset on the planet. I was like, do you remember what happened when China used to have a silver standard? You remember what happened?
Uh,
Oh, well, anyway, it's a useful metal, right? And I was like, hey, if you thought it was a useful metal at $120 per ounce, you're going to love its utility at like $50 an ounce. So, um, this shit was going to come down and correct. Now, I wasn't anticipating all of my
now,
targets
now,
to get hit
now,
at
real quick, before you continue,
once.
I would just like to
Yeah.
just jerk myself off really fast. Pause. I didn't take a long position because I knew I was like, nah, something don't feel right about taking a long position at these levels. Yeah, so
Nope.
I just want to just toot my own horn. Continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, look, there was no reason to long. If you missed it, you wait for the correction and you hunt some longs that way,
Yeah.
right? And this is where one of the reasons I built it on 1x, right, instead of using margin or leverage,
Uh-huh.
is because I waited at the highs to put my leverage in, and here's where I was monitoring this trade all through Thursday into Friday.
Mm.
I was up very late at night. I was up very early in the morning. I didn't get a lot of sleep because I was hunting this hourly structure change. So remember, we hit like that 117 over here, right?
Okay.
And then we had the big correction. Boom.
Yeah. I
That's
see it.
the
Yeah.
morning star reversal setup, right?
Yeah.
And then we started this uptrend on the hourly. And then we
Yeah.
got this nice squeeze right here. We got a little bit of like, we might change trend here. We got a little bit of a lower high, a little bit of a lower low, but it was right
Yeah.
into a compression. And I was
Mm.
like, oh man, this looks like it wants to go up. Why?
Mm.
Because we had a nice consolidation into compression. And then I looked here, and on that green candle, we started peaking up in momentum, and we were kind of neutral in and around here. I was like, it's going to come back up and try and tag that swing high.
Yeah.
And I was like, what I want to see is a concerted break of structure to the downside. It came up, it tagged the high, put another higher low, and then here, big old, what did you call it? A tombstone. It could be a evening star. It can be a morning stars are on the lows. Evening stars are on the highs. It can be a doji. It can be a whatever the hell you want to call it. But all I know is that
What
when you
time
see
frame
it,
is that?
this is the hourly. And of course, I'm
Why
on
don't
lower
I
term
see it
time.
on the hourly?
This one right here, this was the top on the hourly.
Wait,
6
are you in regular
a.m.
trading hours or extended trading hours?
This is 6 a.m. for futures.
I
CFD.
see it now. Yep. Yep. I see the doji. Yeah. Oh wow, it printed a doji. Yeah. I see
Yeah.
it now.
And then meanwhile, I'm like I told you, 115 to 120, I'm layering orders in on the short side, and I'm just bulking my position up.
Yeah.
And then it slams down coming into the 7 a.m. So we have pre-market into market open. Boom.
Yeah.
And when it did this, and then it got bought back up, and guess what? It failed to close above, Hotep. It failed to close above that high
Yeah.
of the
The opening range.
tombstone inverted herp and derp, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what it's called, but you don't close above it after putting in a lower low, and we're getting expansion. So we went from one side of the band.
It didn't even close above the opening range of the previous day.
Yeah, no. And look at this. We went from compression to expansion, and we ran the top side of the bands all the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
And then we rejected even getting back above and holding the basis or the 20 simple moving average here.
Yeah.
As soon as we locked in this lower high, I turned my leverage to 10x, and I slammed in so many short positions that it's obscene how big that position became. I went from 1x to 10x and started slamming in.
So can I borrow $5? I'm just saying. I just need to borrow like $20, man. I need to buy a blunt after the episode.
As it turns out, I could easily be identified by this wallet based on this conversation if I was to send you anything from it. But I think I can always make a kind contribution to your kick stream during the day.
I appreciate that. Let's go. Let's go.
Brother, this thing dropped off a damn cliff. Like I was thinking too, I was watching it, right? So get the lower high. I'm at 10x now. I went from 1x to 10x. I can always turn the leverage back down, but I've slammed in so many orders that it would have been difficult. So as it's coming down to like the $100 level, I'm taking profits. And then I was looking for like 98 to 103 kind of being the main range here between the 272 and this 2414. So I started taking some profits in here as a zone.
Is this it? Is this it? Or are we going lower?
Well, that's the interesting part, right? Look where we're closing, right? We're
We're
starting to go
inside a gap
sideways.
right now. We have just we are inside. We're trading inside a gap right now. I'm a
Yeah.
gap trader.
Yeah, look, all I know is that my portfolio gapped all the people who were going long up here, that's for sure. I'm
There's
sorry,
a
I
one
meant
there's
lapped.
a let me see, what is this? This is a 1 day? I think this is a 1 day. Yeah, we got a 1 day
Yeah,
gap on silver right here.
you're looking
And
at
we're
this
traded
gap.
inside the gap. Yeah, that
You
gap right there.
well, futures doesn't have it, but if you go to the,
Extended
uh,
trading hours on silver, we can see it. Um,
I have it here.
yeah, it's trading right
So
inside of the gap. It actually wicked down below the gap, and now it's just kind of hovering at the gap. So now I'm looking forward to hit the second standard deviation before I take a short position on it.
what I'd be looking for on the daily here, so nice clean chart.
Hmm.
What I'd be looking for is honestly, I think that after a nice uptrend like this, a big beautiful move,
Hmm.
um, what I'd be looking for is a structure change to a lower high, right?
What do you mean by that?
So we've got
What's
some
the
structure
structure
here.
you're looking for
S-
change?
We've got this uptrend here, right? So
Yeah,
we've got this nice little uptrend going on.
yeah,
We had a little bit of a consolidation, then back
yeah.
up. We had this little uptrend, and then of course we've got the big move down,
Right.
right? So we swung this higher low on a close. This is the cleanest three candle structure higher low right here
Hmm.
it swung it, right? So it swung right to it essentially, right? So and it broke all of the other uptrending swings.
Okay.
What I'd be looking for from here is something like, and this is just an example. I'm not talking about price
I'm
levels.
definitely getting calls on Monday.
This is where,
You got to
I
go
could see
up before
something
we
like
go
that.
down again. Yup. Yup.
Yeah.
That's exactly the play I'm looking for. Monday, I'm looking for the calls, carry that up a little bit, and then we get in the puts to go back down lower. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm looking at.
So we could also get something like, it could absolutely rip, right? It could even gap up, right? I mean, who knows what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And then, it could do something like this again and then just continue on. Big old W for winners.
Yeah, it could continue on. Yeah.
But realistically, like this is just a daily higher high. Like I know it's ugly as hell. It's a crash, but it's
Hmm.
just a daily higher high, right? So when you look at the weekly, look at
Okay.
the weekly. It's just a weekly high.
It's a
Look
weekly
how
high.
normal it is. It looks so
Yeah.
good. Well, actually, this is ugly as hell, man. This is an ugly ass candle on the weekly.
It's definitely an ugly candle on a
Yo,
weekly.
this is despair because a lot of people are up here going, "Oh no!" And then everybody that was down here is already got washed out, right? I mean, everybody that was layering in orders here got washed out on the wick down, so
Yeah.
they had to let those go quick. But look at this weekly volatility. Like this is the maximum volatility that you're gonna see, and this thing can keep. I mean, this thing could correct all the way to $60 around 60
Yeah.
to 65. I mean, look at
Yeah.
the last higher low of
62.
the weekly is before it broke the all-time high. Like it's
Right.
like, come on. I mean, I'm sorry, it's after it broke the all-time high, but it's below the prior all-time high, and that's also where the lower first is on the bands. This will change on
Yeah.
Monday though, when we open back up. Look,
We
this
got a
is
we got a question from the chat.
sure.
Landy, do you know anything about this government shutdown from midnight tonight? What does it mean for the market next week? Can I
Um,
answer the question and then you tell me
go
if I'm
ahead.
stupid or not?
Go ahead.
It don't mean shit.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Am I correct? Or I feel like the
It
markets
it
don't give a fuck
it
if the
it, uh,
market is open or not.
it definitely doesn't mean shit, right? Here's
Okay,
why.
let's go.
Here's why. Because it's gonna be open. They already reached a deal, so
Did they?
yeah, they reached a deal this evening. Yeah,
Oh, this
they
evening.
talked
Okay, all
about it
right.
earlier, they talked about it earlier in the week,
Okay.
that they weren't gonna the only thing they wanna fight with the Republicans about is ICE funding. And it's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. And that's not gonna
Um,
be enough to argue about.
yeah, no, and they're gonna many of these agencies based on, like, the budgets are
Uh-huh.
still have funding, I believe. Anyway, so
Can I tell you
um,
something, yo?
what's up?
I shorted QQQ yesterday.
Oh, nice. The
Yeah.
cues.
I shorted the QQQ yesterday. I looked at the daily. If we look at the daily, I didn't make any money. I actually went upside down on it. I should have listened to positivity and got out of the trade. I picked the wrong strike price. But
Oh,
yeah, I knew we were getting a correction.
mhm.
And yeah, go to the daily on QQQ.
Got it.
That's the futures.
Oh, this is the trust series. I mean, they're gonna look about the same. Uh, here, you know what's funny?
Yeah.
I want you to look at your chart, and I
Okay.
want to show you that when you look at the Qs
Uh-huh.
and you look at Nasdaq,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
That lower low, higher high, and you look at SPY, lower low, higher high. They're all doing the same thing.
They
Like
are doing the same thing.
they're all doing the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Let me actually see your chart. Can you show me where you got in?
Yeah. I can actually show you where I got in. Um, Let me see. Okay. So I actually marked it off. Hold on a second.
I gotta go full screen here.
Okay. So my entry was right here at this circle.
Okay.
It was yesterday I put it in. I was like, ooh. And then it gapped up at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then my target was 621 right here. This line right here was 621. It gapped down. I didn't sell because I was waiting for the 15-minute candle to close. And then it just shot back up and I ended up
Yeah,
losing on the trade.
yeah. This is the thing. If it meets your criteria, don't wait for the candle. Don't.
Really?
Just take your profit.
Just
Take
take
your
the
profit.
profit?
Take your
Okay.
profit. Look, the big thing is you got to win, right?
Okay.
And you're already getting a win, right?
Okay.
You're already in the money. So you take your profit and
Uh-huh.
move to the next one. Because what
Uh,
ends up happening is and look, every trader is guilty of this. Is like, hey, it could keep going down.
right. Yes. Yes.
But remember, it gapped down because there was an inefficiency in the market. So
Okay.
usually those inefficiencies will be filled. If not, you count on it maybe being filled later. But if you're looking at lower term time frames,
Yeah.
you're probably looking at it going and trying to tag, because realistically, what it
Cause
gapped down to do is fill out the wick.
cause Landy, my issue is sometimes I get out
Mhm.
and I feel like I got shaken out of the trade. And I'm like, oh, I got paper hands. And
No,
then when I should get out the trade, it goes against me. What do I do about that, yo?
you
Just
have okay.
just take profits and don't give a fuck?
Look, if you're, it depends on what your goal is for your trade,
Okay.
right? If your goal is to swing it, right? It's a swing
Yeah.
trade. When was your expiration?
Today.
Okay, so yeah, it's a short-term trade. You
Yeah.
get out in your profit.
Just
You
get
get
out and
out in your
profit.
profit. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't try to ride the next COVID crash, right? Like
Okay.
don't even if you were, you can take the other side of the trade, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the mindset, because if you have an expiration, you took it on Thursday, expiration Friday, right? You're getting
Right.
in a narrow gap. You're just day trading,
Right.
right? You're not swing trading. You're not building out a sizable position. You're getting in and getting out.
Yeah.
Stick to that no
Okay.
matter what, because you pay
Uh,
yourself. You're working. That's your work, right? And when
right.
you're in the market and you're doing, and this goes for everybody. I don't care how long you've been in markets. People need to remember this. I have to think about this too. Like this, I enjoy it. I love it. I'm passionate about it. I could sit here and stare at candlesticks all day if I didn't have a family. All right.
Mhm.
But this is work. I'm putting in
Yeah.
work. I got to pay myself. Right.
Okay.
And if it hits your take profit zone, you take profit,
Just take
right?
profit.
Yeah, especially if you're essentially in an overnight scalp at that point, right?
Yeah.
So you might as well just take profit, because then you can hunt the other side of the trade,
Okay.
right? Or you can start then evaluating, like, you know what? Maybe this goes, tits up, and it does go down further. Well, my expiration was a Friday. I can open Monday and maybe and start hunting a swing trade, right? Or
Okay.
into Tuesday or Wednesday and hold multi-day trades, or
Okay.
go 2 weeks out on the spread, right?
Yeah.
So this is it's really, really it's something like you don't have to worry about like the whole paper hands thing. You get any pro, you'll
Uh-huh.
get ribbed about it maybe if you're out at lunch or going out to for drinks or something later if you quote unquote paper handed a trade.
Yeah.
But realistically, that's a very retail focus, like, that's the vernacular in crypto and, like,
Uh,
even stock bros, they'll talk about it a little bit here and there, but a win is a win, right?
okay.
And the most important part is that you pay yourself for your time that you're putting in.
Okay.
Costs money to execute.
Yeah.
You took the time to evaluate that trade.
Yeah.
Pay yourself,
Pay
especially in
myself.
overnight. Yeah, pay yourself.
Okay. All right.
If you wanna build out a massive position, well, then you wait and see what's gonna happen, but you saw the buyback. Look at that buyback.
Yeah.
That buyback on the daily.
Yeah.
That buyback right there for SPY, for NASDAQ, that buyback is a warning. That's a warning.
What do you mean?
If we don't start breaking below the low
Well, go to
immediately,
SPY. Go to SPY.
if we go to SPY,
Okay. Doji.
yeah, but look at the leg. She's got a
Yeah.
leg right there. She's got a
That's a
third leg.
big leg. That leg is bigger
Yeah.
than pearly things.
Look, man, this is a big move.
Okay. What does
684
that mean?
and then the close up. This is a massive buyback, right? Because if we look at this
Yes.
candle on the daily, that's a big buyback on the daily. Like this was
It is a
very
big
volatile. You saw
buyback.
VIX take off too, right?
Yeah.
And here's the between these two candles, so we can mark it so it'll grab the opens. You go
Okay.
down here into the 15-minute, right?
Yeah.
All we did was swing from one side to the other and look at where we closed, right on support.
Mm.
And then we moved up into Friday and then it came back down and retested,
Okay.
but it didn't close below the daily and it didn't
Mm.
close below the swings from the other day, right?
Yeah.
Now you got to be aware that this could come right back at you, right?
Right.
Is like, oh, it's coming down, and then it shoots right back at you. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to look here. So 630, this was a close open right on it. So yeah, for SPY, you had a gap in the Qs.
Mm-hmm.
The gap, yeah. So the gap was right here. So
Mm-hmm.
you gapped and you gapped down, and then you filled it, and then you got your trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
So look at where we ended up though. We didn't even come down. We just tapped on the close
But
open on
what
the
does that
15-minute.
sweep mean on a daily on SPY where we get that long leg? What does that mean?
That just means that we got a big ass buyback in the
What is
books, man.
but so what does that mean that we got a big ass buyback?
That
Is
means you
that
got to be
bullish? Is that bearish?
yeah. I mean that's bullish in the near term, right?
Okay.
So what this means for you as a trader if you're evaluating the price, right? It's like we
Yeah.
know that the buyback was so powerful off of
Right.
this low right here, right?
Yeah.
Came down, even took
Yeah.
this candle and basically took this wick.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got bought back up and let's zoom in here. I want you to see something very key for SPY here.
Okay.
You notice that it got bought back up above the prior day's low.
Okay.
And this is a candle that made a new all-time high.
Right.
So it didn't even close the high. So what you're looking for continuation, right?
Is the close above.
What you're looking for is to get back above. This is still a bear setup, right? But
That's the
if
bearish
you
setup.
don't pass
Absolutely.
this low, you're not getting continuation, right? So when you when you saw that it came right here and closed right on that, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Closed right on a daily level
Yeah.
of this low over here,
Yeah.
right? That 15-minute closed directly on it, swung
Yeah.
through it. You get your
And it
move
came.
up.
Yeah.
Now you're into profits. If you're looking for more and you see a candle like this is a reversal setup, brother. Because one,
Mm,
you didn't even make it to this low to get
right.
continuation.
Yeah.
And now you're getting a reversal setup
Classic
right here
reversal
with this
setup.
buyback. Yep.
Yeah.
And then right here is probably where you ended up out of profit, right? Came right back
Oh,
at you for entry. Was the very next
mm.
candle because you probably for the Qs you gap down,
Well, for the
right?
Qs, um,
You
let me
gap
see what
down,
happened.
you filled.
I got to look at extended trading hours to see what happened because if we look at extended trading hours on the Qs, um, I actually hit profit on my trade because
Okay.
621 was my target. When did this candle close? Oh, it actually it closed at what's that 6:45? Okay. So yeah. But yeah, I had marked off my levels. I had hit profit and I was like, wait for the 15-minute candle to close and see what the next one is. But like you said, I just got to pay myself
Yeah, you know what you're probably looking at here.
right
Um,
there. That would so wait, hold on. Go to the 15-minute candle,
mhm.
regular trading hours, right? And go to
There's
the
a bunch
315. Go to the 315 on the QQQ.
so you want which exchange are you on for your
I'm
trading
on
view? So I can match it up.
NASDAQ.
All right.
Right.
So
Go to the 315 candle. You see that wick down? Yeah, that one right there. Go all the way to the bottom. You see that wick down?
mhm.
Dog. That's right there. I was in the profit for 100%.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, just wait for the candle to close.
Look at this. Look at this.
Okay, what's that?
Look at the prior swing
Okay.
at 10:15
Yeah.
a.m. my time, which would have been um,
Oh, that was the indicator to let me know that was the time to sell.
look at that. And then you probably got something like this. You got the buyback, right? When it closed like this.
Yeah.
So this was the at 10:15, right? You're looking at 115. And then you had the move back up to 624 and then another move back down at
Yep.
12:15, which would have been 315, right?
Actually, let me
So
take that back. Let me take that back. Let me take that back. Okay, you know that candle you just pointed out at
the
115? That was the candle I was at 100% at. That first one, that one.
this
I
one.
was at 100% on that candle right there. And I said, wait for the candle to close. It was like a minute left in the candle, Landy. A minute left
Mhm.
in the candle. And I got up to go upstairs to make a protein shake. I went to go make the protein shake, and that shit turned into that fucking doji.
Yep. And then you got the next candle down and then big
And then I got
move,
the next
mean
candle
reversion.
down. So I was like, oh, just wait.
Yeah.
And then it
So you
shot
got
back
this
up.
one. Yeah. So here's the thing. When you
Okay.
look at you gotta you're watching this pattern down.
Yeah.
You gotta look at the big move from the day prior and
Yep.
you'll look and you'll see here
I see it.
on
Yeah.
the NASDAQ, it didn't even so on NASDAQ, it didn't even swing the actual close down here.
It
So this
didn't.
is your zone on the bottom side, right? This is
Yeah.
continuation, right?
Okay.
So this is where this is if it breaks down from here, you're getting continuation. Maybe not on a close, but you're at least gonna swing down below it, right?
Yeah.
So this is your support, right? You
Right.
came back up, and in fact, you came back up for you came back up, and if you look at the high here of the candle right here,
Uh-huh.
if we just go with a horizontal,
I took my short position at uh 1:30 Eastern time.
so you were literally
Keep going. No, not keep going to the left. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
So
Yeah,
you would
right
have
around
been
right there. I was
right
right
here.
there. That's where I took my short position.
Okay. So now if you scroll back and you look like this candle high that I just marked at
Okay.
629.98,
Yeah.
almost 630.
Uh-huh.
If we go to a 4 hour,
Okay.
this
I
turned
see
into
that.
a daily high over here. This was a
Okay.
daily high zone. So
Yeah.
if you look at that daily high right there,
Yeah.
what it did is it essentially swung all the way back up, right? You came
Right.
down, swept these lows over here, and it
Oh,
moved up. And then when you had the move back up, basically you got the gap down, the move back up. The next day the gap comes here. So you had
yeah.
to move back up to retest
Okay.
this swing over here,
Mhm.
right? Because this would have been your swing that you get a close above, right? So
Right.
on the daily here, let's go to the actual daily. So when you look at this
Mhm.
swing, right after this lower low,
Mhm.
this swing was the downtrend break, right? So you get
Yeah.
the if we get a close above here, we know that we're going to run somewhere around these highs from the daily, right? You close
Okay.
above this guy right here because this guy don't matter. None of these
Yeah.
matter. This is the guy that matters at 630,
Right.
right? And even you look over here from the
Yeah.
prior structure, it tested the bull candle open
Yeah.
and that made the highs up there.
Yeah.
Right? So that's your bias breaker to go and test the highs. And then
Okay.
what did we get in the lower term timeframes of this candle right here on that 4 hour? We essentially got a test of it, right? Right
Uh-huh.
after you entered your position, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, you know
It
what? I can
tested it.
still it tested it. And then throughout the day, what did it do? Well, it tested it, and you're probably like, you know, we got all session tomorrow,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I was nervous. I think I was
You're
upside down
sweating.
80%.
Yeah, you were sweating. I know you
I
were.
was sweating.
Bro, a lot of people would be sweating because you don't have the time to build out. It's Friday's expiration. So
Right.
you're either in the money or you're not.
Yeah.
And
I
then
just
you got the
trusted my
gap
setup.
down. Yeah, you got the gap down basically right back to your entry right here because
Yeah.
you entered the day before
Yep.
essentially right to where it gapped and
Yep.
opened at. It went and it grabbed the liquidity. It kept
Yep.
failing, and you're like, I got this. And then it
I
comes
got this.
down,
Yeah.
and then you get the compression, right? Because you had the big
Right.
expansion, you get into the compression, hit the top
Yep.
side at resistance, come back down. Now we compress and now we start closing below. So it's like, man, that's expansion. But it's expansion to where? It's expansion right back to this low.
Yeah. And I had the
Didn't
level
touch it.
marked off too.
Yeah. So that's why, like, if you see that you're in profit, you don't gotta wait for the candle close, man. It
Just take
like
it.
because yeah, just take it because you're already like, look, how many hours out from expiration are you when you're looking at this the first time,
Yeah, I was 2 hours
right?
away.
Yeah, you're 2 hours away, brother. You might as well just you're gonna wait
Just
for the
close it.
nuke. Yeah, just get out of that. You don't.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, this is this is
ah,
this this is why so many people on OTDs, 0 day to expiration, ODTEs or
yeah,
ODDs, get
0
absolutely
days.
washed. 0 days get washed like crazy on Fridays.
Uh,
Anyway, plus we just had a massive event going on the day before, and
yeah,
now today we've got commodities just absolutely shitting themselves
yeah,
while oil is going up. That's the other thing that I wanted to note is
mhm.
a lot of it is a combination of factors around trade, PPI, and then we had oil today break out to
New
the
highs.
day prior. If we look at commodities, we had oil break
Or close to
on
new
the
highs.
well, I mean, it's relative, right?
Right.
I have a zone between 74.40 and 78.40 up here by the highs.
Okay.
This is a major zone for me.
Because
And then
I was actually short oil today. I made a bunch of money on some other oil stocks.
yes,
I had shorted I can't remember, but I had a short position on another oil stock I made money on today.
Well, if you look at the last time that we were up in this zone between, basically 75 to 78, you can
Mhm.
call it 75 to 80, right? We
Yeah.
had this move come off of, basically the 50 to $55 region, right?
Mhm.
We had the nice reversal, comes up, slams into the highs there. By the way, no
Mhm.
continuation, even though people
Mhm.
were really bullish and longing it. And then
Mhm.
they got absolutely wiped out, but it put in a higher
Yeah.
low relative to
Right.
these lows over here on the daily.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then a little bit of a lower high, higher low, higher high, broke down to lower lows, and then kept going. And then where did it keep failing at? Well, it kept failing right around 66.42. Now, the
Mhm.
main zone up here for me that I had was this low between this wick low and this closing low of this
Okay.
structure, right? Because we pinned it, we got above it, lost it, found it as resistance. We dojied above it, and then it trended back down towards 55 again after a little pop, and then right down into the zone for liquidity. When we
Mhm.
started trending back up, we got to beat out this high, take out the zone, and now the criteria is take out this high at 66.42, 66.50 to go and test, 68 to 70 over here, these highs,
Mhm.
right? Now, I am going to tell you that this is probably, I don't know if it's going to, if it's in for the correction yet, but this is ugly because we don't even need any of these other lines. None
The
of these other
correction's
lines
coming.
even matter. Yeah. Well, look at this high is the criteria. We need to see it close above, right?
Yes.
So, like, ideally, next week is we get something like it's either close below the open because this is just a doji, right? A spinning top,
Yep.
a hammer, whatever. It's a bullish hammer. If it was a bearish hammer, everybody would be freaked out. But
Yeah.
look at the shadow. It's we can call them shadows now. Look,
Mm. It's
they
inside.
were
It's inside.
yeah,
It's inside.
they lifted the offer to 66.48. Like, all right, sorry, I'm gonna
Mhm.
stop. But essentially what you're looking for is either a close above here on the daily. So if it swings
Mhm.
above there and fails to close above coming into the close, it's probably an easy position to come down for the liquidity, right? Down in here,
Mhm.
at least below, down to 64, maybe even to the 62.60 or under.
Mhm.
But realistically, this candle structure is right at resistance, but if it
Mhm.
breaks it, a big move to 70, 68, 70 is likely coming,
It's
and
definitely coming.
then it's probably going up to, like, 74, 75, maybe even
Yep.
78 to 80 after that.
Yeah.
But
Which I
with
think will happen. I'm bullish on oil.
I think that it will based on the weekly, but it might need to correct for structure.
I
It's
think it
not
needs
in
to
a
correct first. I think it needs to correct first.
yes. I
I
don't
mean, we
know if
got
it's ready
one,
yet.
2, 3. Hold on. What's it doing on the weekly? We've got
Weeklies
one,
weeklies
2. We got like basically 3 weeks of upward movement on the weekly. So we've got to go down before we go up.
Yeah, just note that if we did get a higher high close on the weekly, and it is
Yeah.
technically breaking out of this little cluster. It just needs
Mhm.
to pass the swings.
Yeah.
And then it's really realistically around 70, right? Is the next big area between 68 to 70 up here, right?
Mhm.
Everybody's looking at this. They're looking at this. These
Mhm.
lows over here. They're looking at 66, but we're already
Mhm.
testing there. The big thing
Mhm.
is this is closing on expansion. It's got
Mhm.
all of the criteria for a move higher right now.
Mhm.
And it's just a matter of Monday is going to probably tell us the story, right?
Yeah, Monday, yeah, crucial.
Monday, Tuesday candles are going to tell us the story of continuation or local correction or consolidation, right? You got three
Mhm.
options. It's continuation to the upside, a local correction or consolidation, right?
Mhm.
Locally. And this is where this is a nice move. It's closing above the upper second, but the this is where I'll take out moving averages that I usually don't show because I don't really care too much about moving averages. Just understand there's 100 EMA overhead, and then at 70 there's that 200 EMA as well, right? And if it breaks above those, I could see it hitting the SMA in the mid 70s and maybe even swing above it, but it probably doesn't have too much juice after that on the weekly.
All right, we're running out of time here. I want to
Yeah, all
ask you
good.
2 questions before we
Sure.
go. Number 1, what is that purple dot that appears in your Landy bands? It appears below the wick. What is that?
Here, I'll show you. Give me a second. Silver is actually a good one. Actually, yeah, silver is probably a good one to go back to. Let's get rid of this, and I'll.
Like I'm day trading and it pops up, it'll disappear.
Yep. When
And
the
I'm like, what
candle's
the hell?
live, yeah.
Yeah, what is that purple dot?
Give me just a second here. Where's my? Why am I not able to get rid of my? There we go. All right. So the purple dot, when you look in style here,
Okay, hold on. Let me get there. Hold on a second.
under
Okay,
the
go to
indicator
style.
settings, scroll
Yeah.
all the way down,
Okay.
and you'll see a bunch of stuff. This is going to be rearranged.
Yeah.
There's some options in here. You see upper second
Yeah.
shape and lower second shape.
Wait,
This
hold on.
means
Wait. Okay, upper second shape. Yep.
so that's the circle, the purple circle,
Yeah.
because that's basically you're closing above the upper second standard deviation. When the candle's live, meaning it's still open, if it's above the upper second, the purple dot will appear. If it's below it, it will disappear. If it closes above it, it's locked in. That means that you're getting expansion. So when we look at something like, let me go back and take this moving averages off. And I'm gonna put my Bollinger Band set back on. So if you look here during the compression phase, here, we swung above, it would have printed it during that time, but if it doesn't close above, then it's not locked in, right? So it comes down, price gets above the upper second, purple, on closes. And then it consolidates, gets a purple candle above the upper second, slight close above, because the bands move. Sometimes when they get pulled up, you can't tell, did this close above or close below? Did this close above? This one closed above. This one
So
closed
if
above.
it's ready to close above, because sometimes when I'm live trading, it'll pop up and disappear, pop up and disappear. I'm like, what is this purple dot? And it's basically like ready to like lock in and say it's gonna close at that
Yeah.
level.
So like on this
Okay. That
expansion
makes
up here for silver too, like you see the consolidate, we got the expansion down, mean reversion, then compression. If we see that purple dot, we know we're initiating expansion. So then we can say what's the criteria for this guy right here. So I'll just quickly run you through this because this is pretty this might even level you up, brother, because if you look here, we see a lower second closure on this 15-minute candle, right? So now we have criteria. We must break below these lows to go and test this low right here. So because this candle is above these lows, we know that we're going into an expansion phase. So in order to confirm it as a legit expansion to the next area of interest, we got to look for these lows, these swings. So we can say, okay, here's the criteria. We saw the purple dot. We can go here. We know that if we start closing below, we're initiating expansion to this low, and the next candle did it. So you're going to be trading this in lower term time frames. So I always make sure when we're in a compression that I'm looking on the 15-minute. When I drop to the 5-minute, I know that like, hey, this candle's headed. This candle is right on the lower second. I know where the lower second is coming into this candle. So on the 5-minute, while the candle before it's right here is open, I know that we're right up against the lower second because we swung it. and the lower term time frame is lower than the 15-minute. So
Mhm.
then I'll mark that so that I know, hey, basically right at 113.22, that would be expansion to the next level if our 15-minute candle closes. So I would watch the next 3 5-minute candles, that being this one, for
Mhm.
confirmation. And then if I didn't already get into this lower high up here after
Mhm.
breaking this little uptrend here, and then
Mhm.
get into this lower high, I'd be looking for the expansion to this low, and that's what we got, right?
Okay, so last question.
Yep.
This little volume thing, the BB,
BBWP.
yeah, how do I read that?
um, well, it is going to be a volatility metric. What this tells you is that we are either in an expansion or not, and it's direction neutral, meaning that if this is red, that means the bands we're mean reverting back to the basis, right? So this is red, and
Mhm.
and the number is we're getting the bands closing back in. If this is
Mm.
green, that means it's over the moving average, and we're moving from compression into expansion. So you can actually
Mm.
get this indicator from TradingView by itself if you want to look at the graph version. This is only because people usually I have people who are asking me for the BBWP indicator that's free from the indicators tab, and it's by a brilliant guy, the caretaker. So I actually reached out to him and asked him if I could build it in to my
I know
indicator here.
caretaker, yeah, he got great indicators, yeah.
Yeah, caretaker is so I actually
He's
reached out to him
goated.
and asked him if I could pilfer his code for mine, and he said as long as my indicator was free, good to
Yeah.
go. So you see on this compression, we had low volatility, and then as you see those purple things
Mhm.
printing, we
Mhm.
start moving up over the moving average, that white
But
line,
but
this
how do
box
you
turns
read
green.
that compared to the SMA?
Well, the
Like, if it's
SMA is the
above
moving
the
average.
SMA,
So,
does it mean something? If it's below the SMA, does it mean
yes.
something?
Okay, so this is BBWP, is this multicolored line. So
Mhm.
that box is it's gonna be red when that line is below this white line, which is the SMA.
Okay.
When it's above, it's gonna be green. So, like,
Oh,
here, we maxed out, and then we started to get BBWP under the SMA,
okay.
and it turned red, so that's why it's red right now. If it gets back above the SMA, it's gonna turn green, and you'll notice what's
Um,
happening is we're going from downside expansion into contraction on the lower term time frame. Yeah,
okay, okay.
and in fact, shout out to, Crown's Crypto Cave. Well, now I'm old now, I think he changed his name, um,
Mhm,
because I know that Caretaker worked with him for on a lot of stuff,
mhm,
and, I used to use, Bollinger Band width and Bollinger Band percentage. They're 2 different indicators, and they're
mhm,
read differently. So one of the things that you can do is, with BBWP, pull up your, indicators tab and go and read, Caretaker's notes on it. So when you go here, if you already have this added to your chart, go to more, uh, well, no, maybe not more.
yeah, Bollinger Band with percentile,
Yeah.
and go into notes and okay, which part you wanna look at?
I thought there was a quick way to get to the main page with the change log and notes and stuff. Did they must have changed that a while ago. I haven't gone and
I'm on
looked.
it right now.
Okay, so if you go on the indicators tab and you just type BBWP, you can read all about um, BBWP. So Bollinger Band with percentile. Yeah, so just you can read about it and how it
Mhm,
works. All you really need to know is that if you're if you see the bands compressed and you're pulling away from the basis, the red line,
mhm,
the 20 simple, you're going to see that Bollinger Band with percentile will move up, right? Meaning
mhm,
that as price, if price is close to the 20, you're going to see BBWP is low.
Mm-hmm.
And then as it pulls away to the upside or the downside, you'll see that BBWP will begin to rise. When we start closing above an upper second or closing below a lower second, you're going to see it really aggressively rise to the upside and get expansion. So it's just a good way. And I encourage you just to read about it a little bit, everybody who wants to look at it, and then compare it to your chart, right? Compare it, the bands, and see low volatility. You see it's blue, high volatility is red, but it's direction neutral, right? So if you're above the basis, you're expanding to the upside. If you're below the basis, you're expanding to the downside, essentially.
Right. Landy, we got 5 minutes left here. What are we shorting this week, Landy? I'm not even gonna think no more. I'm gonna just do whatever the hell you're doing, bro. Are we shorting anything this week? Are we longing anything this week? Or are we just watching Monday?
I am going to be watching because I'm already in so many positions on the short side. I think that because I have some longer dated positions, and essentially this is hedging against leaps that I took before a lot of the runs happened.
Yeah.
So it's either going to be closing those and then maybe trying to scalp a little bit here and there. But I think that coming into the first part of the month, it should be observation and take advantage of clear setups. Bitcoin has some clear setups for either bounce back up further or continuation to 78 to 80, maybe mid 70s. It's either going to bounce up and recover above 86 and try to hit 89 to 90, or it's going to head down, likely to sweep the $80,000 low over here, the $80,500 low, maybe go for 78 or mid 70s. So it's either continuation for Bitcoin. That's what I'm going to be watching next week. Or it's going to be, a nice little bounce. And either way, I'd just be prepared for Bitcoin. Watch it very closely over the weekend if there's any kind of geopolitical craziness going on.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable, he called the top on silver.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Landy Langley. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, if you are not watching the nightly recap here on GNN with Hotep Jesus and Langley Landy, you just don't want to get rich. And I'm telling you right now, you only have 4 years left to get rich. 4. After that, it's UBI and rations of food. You're cooked. Landy, am I wrong in that?
I think I'm going to not answer that right now because I know you got to go. And I think maybe hit me up in DMs and see if I got some time to come on one of your streams next week during the day. And I think we should talk about that one. I think that would be a really good conversation. You let me know.
Am I on the right path?
I don't see any type of a UBI coming anytime soon. You think that they're going to let us have money? You think that they're going to let us do anything?
So are you familiar with perestroika?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're familiar with perestroika, we're headed down the same path as Soviet Union. I think if you, for example, Mamdani in New York. Mamdani in New York is already tanking New York City.
Yeah.
He's talking about minimum wage on DoorDash drivers. Now, DoorDash is like the poverty escape method. If you put minimum wage on DoorDash, you're basically saying, let's outsource that to robots. And you're saying, big business, figure out a way to outsource this to robots. So I think this window, because of artificial intelligence, because we don't know who's going to be president in 2028, I think this window right here of Trump presidency is the last window to get paid. I think after 2028, it's going to get harder to get paid. For example, right now you have this thing called vibe coding, right? Where everybody's just printing their own apps. Vibe coding is dead next year.
Why do you
Gone.
think?
Huh?
Why do you think?
Because vibe coding means I code an app that other people can use. In 2027, people vibe code their own fucking apps. They don't need you.
True. Yeah, they can just ask their AI to just make it.
They're just gonna ask the AI, hey AI, can you track my weight loss for me?
But we don't have the robotic infrastructure to pair with the AI yet, in my opinion. You
That
gotta
is true.
bring me
That
on
is
your show.
true. There's a lot of interest. Okay, you got
Yeah.
next Friday. Wait, hold on. Let me think about this. Mondays. Let's do Monday.
What time do you go live?
Let's
Or what time
let's
do you want me
do
to-
Monday 4 p.m.
At 4 p.m. Eastern?
Eastern.
Okay. All right.
Let me put it in my calendar now.
Because this is a good conversation.
It is. Landy, Monday, 4 p.m. Done. In there. Groundhog Day. Oof.
Oh my God, it is. Yo, what if on Groundhog's Day we just get another 40% dump off and so
I would love it. I would love it. I would absolutely love it. You know? But I Landy, you're smart. You got your own, thing you got going on with the CIA. But I'm smarter than you.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
I'm fucking smarter than you, goddammit.
Yo, when you said that, my handlers downstairs laughed. That was wild, bro.
I just feel I got a hunch. I don't know if it's the lack of millions in my bank account speaking or not, but I feel like for me, I'm like, nigga, you got these last 4 years to get paid. If it don't happen, we going back to Red Lobster. That's how I feel. So I don't know if it's a bias, I don't know what it is, but Landy, I think we got 4 years to get paid. After that, it's food rations and UBI, yo. We are cooked, man. We are cooked. If we don't get it while Trump's in office, we're cooked, Landy.
Oh
It's
man.
over. Now I will say this. For day traders, we can trade in any weather. So for day traders, we're good, right? Like traders, we're good. But for the masses, I'm telling you, 2028 is the deadline. If you don't lock the fuck in these next 4 years, it's going to be harder to get paid.
Man, I
Don't say
am looking forward to Monday. I'm looking forward to Monday. Yeah.
Monday on Hotep Jesus Live, we're going to have Crypto Landy on. We're going to talk about the future of America and whether you're going to be on UBI. If you got to go to the food bank and get your food rations, we're going to talk about it on Monday, Hotep Jesus Live, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, right at market close. Landy, thank you very much. I appreciate you for the education. This has been phenomenal as always. This is the man that called the top on silver and shorted it. Sure enough, if you don't watch this show every Friday night, you just want to be poor. You like being poor. You don't want to be rich. You just want to be poor. So stay poor. Don't watch if you want to stay poor, don't watch this show. If you want to get rich, if you want white women with huge casabas, if you want black women with BBLs bigger than Antarctica, you lock into this show, goddammit. Every Friday night, Hotep Jesus with Crypto Landy. Landy, thank you very much, man.
Thank you, Hotep. Have a great weekend, brother.
I'll see you Monday.
See you Monday.